Jr.
That's right. So Colorado kicked off the 2024 season against North Dakota State after an offseason full of changes, and really, the big difference between this and last year is that last season, they were one of the most hyped and talked about teams in the game. Now, they obviously still are, but it feels different this year. People have more realistic expectations, and I think it's going to be an exciting year with the goal of the season being to make a bowl game. And they started off the season with a bang. Sheduer Sanders came into this one with a lot of pressure after stating that he wanted to be the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. And he most definitely did start things off on the right foot, throwing for 445 yards and 4 touchdowns, with 3 of them going to the other star of the show in Travis Hunter. I can't wait to see what these two guys can do this season because they both truly could go #1 overall, but I think it's going to be tough for any team to pass up on a potential two-way player. And it will be interesting to see what Hunter's career is like in the league because there's almost no way he can play every single snap, but even doing a bit of both would be quite impressive. Anyways, now let's talk a bit about Coach Prime. He completely changed the roster from last season because it was obvious that things had to happen for Colorado to have a real chance to compete. And that was expected because last season was basically year 1, so there was gonna be tweaks once we all had an idea of what this team was starting from. So let's recap the game. North Dakota started things off with a 36-yard field goal to make it 3-0. Then Sheduer threw a 41-yard pass to Travis Hunter for the first touchdown of the game to make it 7-3. Cam Miller followed that up with a touchdown of his own to put North Dakota back up on top 10-7. But it wasn't long for Colorado to reclaim the lead when Jimmy Horn scored a touchdown on a 69-yard pass to make it 14-10. Then Cam Miller rushed for a touchdown, and then after trading field goals, the score was 20-17 North Dakota State at half. Then after this point, it was the Sheduer Sanders to Travis Hunter show. The first touchdown between the two came on a 13-yard pass with about 8 minutes to go in the third. And in the fourth, it was a 3-yard touchdown to put Colorado up 11, putting them in a great spot to secure the W. With about 2:30 left to go, Cam Miller rushed for a 20-yard touchdown, but it was too little too late. Following this game, Deion Sanders used his favorite word to describe Hunter, calling him after that type of performance. Travis Hunter gets 131 snaps, Sanders said, showed no signs of tiring. He is who he is. He is the definition of him. 31 NFL scouts representing 19 teams on Thursday. Most scouts in attendance in CU history. TV ratings, Sanders said, 4.8 million viewers, peaked at 5.6 million. That lets you know that our fan base is real. Whether you like it or not, you want to see it, and I'm thankful for it. I feel like we have one of the best, if not the best fan base in the entire country. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about what some of the other areas outside of Sheduer and Hunter did, because they are of course going to be the thing that will give this team the ability to be bowl eligible. Let's start off with the offensive line, which was of course the area with major struggles last year. In the Buffalo season opener against North Dakota State, the performance of their offensive line was a tale of two halves. On one hand, they excelled in pass protection, which was crucial for Sheduer's standout performance. As I mentioned, Sanders threw for an impressive 445 yards and 4 touchdowns, largely due to the solid protection he received from the line. They allowed only 1 sack throughout the game, giving him the time he needed to connect with his key receivers in Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn, who were instrumental in the team's offensive success. However, the offensive line's run blocking left much to be desired. Colorado struggled to establish a ground game, managing only 59 rushing yards and averaging a mere 2.5 yards per carry. This inefficiency in the running game was evident in their play calling, as they leaned heavily on the passing attack with 40 pass attempts compared to just 17 runs. The lack of a consistent running game limited the offense's versatility and placed additional pressure on Sanders and the passing game to deliver. Overall, while the offensive line did play a pivotal role in the success of the passing game, their struggles in the run blocking highlighted an area in need of improvement. And Deion Sanders has expressed the desire for a much more physical and balanced offensive approach, indicating that enhancing the run game will be a focus in future matchups. As the season progresses, it will be very interesting to see how the Buffs address these challenges and work towards developing a more well-rounded offense. And switching gears, in terms of defense, the Buffs faced notable challenges against North Dakota State, particularly in the first half, where they allowed 242 total yards and 20 points, resulting in a 20-17 halftime deficit. The defensive struggles were reminiscent of issues from the previous season, characterized by poor positioning, unnecessary penalties, and an inability to effectively stop the run. North Dakota State's running backs Charmar Brown and Barika Kipinu combined for 65 rushing yards, really highlighting the Buffalo's difficulties in containing the ground game. However, after a halftime intervention described by Travis Hunter as a chewing out from the coach, the defense showed significant improvement in the second half. They conceded only 6 points and 207 yards, with 49 of those yards coming on the final play of the game. The defense managed to make key stops, preventing North Dakota from sustaining drives as effectively as in the first half. Notable individual performances included Dayon Hayes, Dozie Nwakwo, and BJ Green, who collectively accounted for 3 of the team's 7 sacks for loss. Additionally, Savion Riley stepping in for the injured Cameron Silman Craig contributed 7 total tackles, including a tackle for loss. Despite the improvements, several areas require attention, and number 1 was the pass rush. While generating some pressure, they struggled to finish sacks, and the secondary often found themselves chasing wide open receivers. The run defense, although better than last season, still needs to be more consistent. And discipline is another area of concern, as unnecessary penalties extended North Dakota State's drives. Overall, the defense really did display a tale of 2 halves, with a concerning first half followed by a more resilient performance in the second. While they did enough to secure a 31-26 victory, allowing nearly 450 yards of offense to a FCS opponent is a big red flag. Deion Sanders expressed disappointment with the late touchdown conceded, emphasizing the need for better quarterback pressure. So as the Buffaloes prepare for tougher opponents, particularly in their upcoming game against Nebraska, addressing these defensive issues is crucial. The potential loss of safety Cameron Silman Craig to injury could also impact their defensive strategy. In conclusion, while the Colorado defense showed flashes of improvement and resilience, significant work still remains to ensure they can compete at a high level consistently throughout the season. Let me know in the comments below how you guys felt about the Buffs' performance in Game 1 and what they need to do to beat Nebraska. That's really all I got for this one. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And until next time, I will see you all later.